Fog Football back again with the SPFL review show. We're here with match day 36, and there's a lot to talk about. Celtic pretty much won the league. Nick Montgomery will probably get sacked, and then there's a lot of lower league playoffs as well. Ross County pretty much threw away a great chance to maybe get in that 10th spot, and St Johnstone as well threw away another chance to get a bit of distance between themselves and Ross County, but both of them messed up. And then Livingston got a surprise win at 6-1, which not many people would have saw coming. But we're going to start right here in the lower leagues. And I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to start with Hamilton Academical beating Alloa Athletic, which means they advanced 5-4 to the next round. No real surprise. We both predicted Hamilton to get the job done. And if you want to leave a comment, then go ahead. I'll read it out here. But moving into Inverness against Montrose, it was 0-0 in that first leg. And then it went 1-0 to Inverness in this one. I think Inverness need to stay up, by the way. I think Inverness do. Hamilton, they both need it. Inverness, though, put a lot of money into Duncan Ferguson. How's that going to go? We're not too sure because that game against Hamilton, it's going to be a good game, but I would rather Inverness. I believe they've had a pretty big stay. They point out on Gillette Soccer Saturday that they've been in the top two, at least the top two highest divisions for a while, so we'll have to wait and see how that goes out. But yeah, 1-0 victory there. Then we had the mighty Peterhead. This was Shockaroony, by the way. I mean, getting pumped 5-1 by the Spartans. 7-2 on Igor at home. Who would have seen that coming, man? Don't understand what's going on there. Stirling Albion then drew 0-0 with Dumbarton. We had Dumbarton advancing. Then we had East Kilbride drawn 2-2 with Stranraer, and obviously there's a wee bit more to go in that one. But there was a funny highlights package recap of that game, and they were commentating over it, and they were talking about we need to have a break here, and then it just panned to them all drinking water on the sideline. It was bizarre here. Was it funny for Stranraer? Absolutely. East Kilbride, though, fun fact, 6th most dangerous place in Scotland. Per capita, 552.3, I believe, crimes per 10,000 people. Seen that on TikTok earlier. So there you go. East Kilbride. Stranraer's lucky if they get back home than the A77. But let's go into the Premiership. That's what we're here for, all right? And we may as well start with Celtic Rangers here in the SPFL review show. I went with 4-0 Rangers. He went with 4-0 Rangers. I wish I went with 4-0 Rangers. I'm no delusional. I went with 4-0 Celtic. It was pretty obvious that Rangers weren't going to win this game. The starting 11 cemented that opinion. One of us went with 3-1 Rangers. Don't really know how. You come to that conclusion. Yeah, I think it's a game that perfectly summed up the season, by the way, right? Rangers started. I mean, I don't think the start for Rangers was poor, overly poor. I mean, considering recent Old Firms, it was probably one of the better starts in Old. It was probably the best start in Old Firm this season for Rangers, by the way. I mean, the first 10 minutes I thought were pretty even. They had a chance pretty much immediately. John Suter hit onto Butland. Rangers then had a header with Sterling. And Silva dragged a shot wide, had the header as well. Celtic did have shots in between all that too. But then, typical thing happens. John Lundstrom, Barisic and co. just piss poor defensively. Let Matt O'Reilly acres of space. He's obviously going to score for you there. John Lundstrom then puts the ball in the back of his own net. I don't think Tav, you can't really forgive Tav as well for that second goal because he's the guy that's let Maida get all the space in the world and get a ball across. It's pathetic for Lundstrom. It's bad for Tav as well. And then Rangers get a goal back. It just reminds you of the season though. Celtic start strong, get that gap. Rangers claw it back. And then by their own means, Rangers fuck it all up because John Lundstrom gives it away. And here, it's a red, right? We made a video earlier about Kenny Miller. I do get Kenny Miller's point of view on this situation, right? Because without VAR, it was a yellow and you wouldn't even feel that hard done by about it. But with VAR, they're obviously going to give it as a red. So he wants to start slowing things down like that. It's hard for Willie Gillum not to look at that and give a red, regardless of your opinion. And I would say pretty much everybody that I've not seen anybody in the comments say it's not a red. The best defense you'll get of it not being a red is people saying it's 2024, it needs to be a red. But Kenny Miller's the only guy realistically saying that it should have been a red. As we move on though to the second half, where not much happened. There was an awful second half. The penalty, I mean, I could sit here and argue about initiating contact, but it didn't change anything. The game was done when Lundstram got sent off, and the players we brought on simply aren't good enough for Rangers, and neither's half the team that stayed on or started. It's just the 11, the 18, some that didn't get brought on, the ones that did get on, and the ones that started, they're just not good enough, man. The vast majority of them aren't good enough. I mean, you'd keep about 3, 4, 5 maybe, and the rest of them that would go, and you wouldn't even notice that they'd left at the door. Rangers go to a whimper. It's not surprising. It's pathetic, man. It's like a deja vu, the game back in December. But even then, I feel like there was a bit more fight in that game. We actually had Celtic on the ropes towards the end, the last 10 minutes. See, in this game, Rangers did not have Celtic at any point on the ropes. They were launching balls in. McCausland gets that great ball that falls out the sky, and what does he do? Does nothing with it, man. Doesn't even hit it. Just tries to do like a chop inside. He doesn't have the quality to do that. All right? Doesn't have the quality to do that, and it shows, man. I don't think he is Rangers quality. Right, that's where we're going to leave the Celtic Rangers roundup, wrap up of the SPFL show portion here. The league is over. I may as well address it. Yeah, I mean, I've seen people, but if Celtic lose both their games, there's a great chance Celtic lose both their games and Rangers still don't win the league. I mean, what can you be confident of this team? Go like, see if this team, right, was half time at on the final day at Tynecastle. I would not have much confidence, by the way, in this team. Even if St Mirren were beating Rangers Celtic 3-0, this team would probably throw it away at Tynecastle. Anyway, the league's over. Rangers are pathetic, man. The trophy count probably will be matched this season between both clubs, and yeah, it's another failure for Rangers this season. The League Cup is a distant memory, and at the end of the day, people can say Beale messed up the start of the season. Well, come on, clawed it back, didn't he? Come on, clawed it back. It's the players, man. The players have got it all to go, and a player that Rangers need in the summer is Lawrence Shankland, and he scored the third goal against Dundee. Pretty good performance from Hearts. Dundee were pretty poor. St Mirren and Dundee, they're kind of just in holiday mode, aren't they? They're just happy to be there. Hearts, comprehensive win, 3-0. I mean, they were already cemented third, but here, third place, 3-0, 3 goals, suits them down to the ground. Moving on to St Johnstone Levy. St Johnstone took the lead in this game, and I have a bone to pick with this game and the next game. I took under goals at half time, thinking, there's no chance, man. St Johnstone will probably win 1-0. And then Levy scored 2 goals. Levy at 6-1 would have been a decent bet, but just shows you, like, Levy, that's a few wins in the last couple of games. If only they'd been better this season. St Johnstone, I hope finish 11th. I just don't rate them. Craig Lefebvre probably will walk at the end of the season, but again, Livingston, it's too little too late, and they're winning games in the split. And at the end of the day, when you're winning games in the split, you're playing the dross around you, but then it's not like Livingston was picking up points against the dross around them earlier this season either, was it? So yeah, that finished 2-1. Then we had Ross County against Motherwell. Another game I had under goals, betting it at half time. And it looked like it was up at 3-1, but then Motherwell decided to score 2 late goals. And what is it? You look at this game and it's like, how did Rangers lose to Ross County? 3-2. I'll tell you why, because they're bottle jobs. Here you have Motherwell in the same stadium at Dingwall. They're away, just like Rangers. And Motherwell are putting 5 goals past Ross County. Mental. Absolutely mental. Then we had St Mirren against Killie. A lot of, I wouldn't say there was bad blood between the two here, but I mean, there was definitely bad blood towards Big John McGlynn. The Killie players weren't happy that Derek McKinnon's won it. He's like, you'd expect Falkirk to do that in that league. I mean, you would expect them to win it at a counter. They did, but I think when the team goes invincible, it's always going to be looked at as special, and I think rightfully so, regardless if it's a full-time team or a part-time league, because they've been behind quite a lot and managed to claw it back. I'm not saying they're a Bayer Leverkusen, because of course they've done some magical stuff this season, but that's the way it is at the end of the day. And then our final game today is the match review, of course, is on the channel between Hibs and Aberdeen. But what a disaster this is for Hibs. What does the future hold for Hibs, man? There is not much going on for them. I'll tell you that for free, because they sack managers for fun. I seen someone comment earlier that, you know, they're going through managers like Watford, and they are. I mean, like Lee Johnston, Maloney. I mean, is Nick Montgomery going to be added to that list? He probably will be. He probably will be added to that list. It's like, why keep him? You know, you have 2 games to go. If you want to just keep him for the remaining 2 games, then fair enough, right? But sack him after it, man. Give a manager the summer. Hibs are going to back this guy in the summer, and see by September, early October, he'll be sacked, man. It's like it's no good enough, and they have to do it. I mean, we've complained about Aberdeen, right? Again, I don't understand their situation. As Boyd pointed out a couple of weeks ago, they've announced the manager, and he's still managing the team in Sweden. And when he leaves soon, it's not like the Swedish league ends at the same time, by the way, because obviously, if you know your European football, why does Scotland get the qualifiers against like the Scandinavian teams who's halfway through their season? They're halfway through their season, right, at this stage, or probably like a third of the way through. That makes no sense for him to still be at that club. They should have got him in. I mean, Peter Levens did a great job. He's back for that health scare he had a couple of weeks ago, and he's laid the smack down the day and beat Hibs 4-0. But again, Hibs shouldn't be losing 4-0 to Aberdeen. And Aberdeen, this is more like them. Aberdeen have got a team capable of fighting, I think, Hearts next season for third. Hibs don't. Hibs are just a team that there's no real stars about them, man. They haven't replaced certain players that they've got rid of. You look at Doidge, I mean, it's hard to replace him when he's worth that amount of money. And Nisbet, and again, I say I'm worth that amount of money, and we're not talking hundreds of millions here, but nowhere near replaced him. Adam Lafondre, too old. Martin Boyle, looks like that injury has finally done it for him. So, yeah, that is pretty much it, guys, for your SPFL review show. Of course, Celtic 6 points top. Hearts, cement at third. Killie, cement at fourth. St Mirren, Dundee, it could switch. It's not going to. Hibs are mince. Motherwell, not too far behind. Aberdeen. As for Ross County, St Johnstone, that's pretty much the last thing that we've got to look forward to at the end of the day. But anyway, guys, that is where we're going to leave this video here. That is your SPFL review show. And until next time, that's it for this stream. Peace.